Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews, and today I wanted to do another video, at least one more review. I'll do the review for the sequel tomorrow, but I want to talk about a movie that I'm actually a really big fan of. I love this film, and unfortunately I can't find it anywhere. I haven't found it on DVD anywhere, I haven't found it on Blu-ray anywhere. But I would love to find it if I can find it one day, I would love to pick it up on Blu-ray. That is Grave Encounters, not 2011. I almost said like 1990s or something like that. But Grave Encounters came out in 2011, gets a 6.1 on IMDb. I think it deserves a little bit higher than that, personally, but that's just my opinion. The film was directed by Colin Minihan, who hasn't directed much. I mean, he directed a short film called Theory of a Dead Man, So Happy. Then he directed Grave Encounters, Extraterrestrial, and that's about it. There's another short film, and then he's going to make a movie called Haunted Temple. He also wrote the sequel, which I'll talk about in a second. I do have the sequel on DVD. It's actually quite easy to find. It's actually easy to find it. I still see it at Walmart and everything. And I picked it up, and honestly, I'm not a fan of the sequel. And I'll get to more of the details of why. I don't like, first of all, I don't like the cast in this movie. There's one likable character in the entire movie, and that's the lead character. There's ideas that, in my opinion, are just very stupid. That Grave Encounters 1, what I love about this movie, that the sequel kind of messed up, is that it kept it straightforward, it kept it basic, it kept it simple, and it kept it, just a very straightforward movie. It wasn't complicated, and it was a simple film, but it worked. And I loved the movie. The sequel wanted to go this whole I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's literally, in the sequel, there's holes in the walls that are portals to different parts of the asylum. That's stupid. I can't believe they put that in the movie. But I will say this though, the sequel, it does have some ideas that I love. And it does have some really good practical effects. Really well done makeup effects. Also, the CGI in the movie wasn't that bad. It wasn't, cheap at all. As a matter of fact, there's also a lot of creepy scenes involving this scene where this dude's pretty much a giant, ghost, and he crawls to the freaking door and he's breaking the ceiling apart. That was creepy. It definitely does have some creepy scenes to it. But in my opinion, yes, I loved some of the ideas, and then I hated some of the ideas. Also, the movie has a very slow pace. It barely takes place at the asylum, and then when they get there, they're there for maybe 40 minutes. Then they're out of the asylum for 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes out of the asylum again, to only end up back in the asylum. Not even that. Maybe they basically, not even 10 or 15 minutes. They just leave the asylum, about 40 minutes when they get there, and it just seems like they sort of rushed the asylum at the end of the movie. We're just sort of like, oh, let's get this asylum in there, let's get everything shot. Felt very rushed at the end of the movie, which that's the sequel. I'll talk about that tomorrow. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of the sequel, but I am a big fan of the first movie. Now, I seen this movie on Netflix back when it first came out, and when I seen it, I loved it. And it's because it's a horror film that nails the atmosphere. It is a great idea. The Grave Encounters team is a likable, basically full of likable characters and good actors. And, Lance Preston at the beginning of the movie, played by Sean Rogerson, you sort of don't like his character at the beginning of the movie. You're just sort of like, he's kind of just doing it for money. He's a fraud. But throughout the movie, he sort of learns that there's this spirit here, and he sort of has his team pull together as a group and try to escape excuse me, try to escape the asylum. So at first, Lance Preston is a likable character, but he sort of realizes that he needs to be more real, because his ghost pretty much is a very it's like basically what it's about, because it's hard to explain. Not hard to explain, but I don't know what the freak. Basically, the story is about a paranormal investigation group. They are pretty much a team called Grave Encounters, and it's sort of similar to Ghost Adventures. Kind of reminds me of that. And pretty much this team goes and investigates an asylum. And while they're there, they get locked in, so that also reminded me of Ghost Adventures. And also, Lance Preston kind of reminded me of, you know, if freaking the guy from Ghost Adventures, if he had like a stunt double or something like that, it'd be Lance Preston. I mean, he looks like the guy from freaking Ghost Adventures. It does seem like a lot like Ghost Adventure, which kind of a fun thing. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of Ghost Adventures, so it was kind of a fun thing in the movie. And while they're in there, they find out that there's this heavy spiritual activity in there. And this ghost pretty much starts killing these people off one by one, or these ghosts, because the entire asylum is full of ghosts. And there's a lot of creepy scenes, a lot of scenes that are just done very well. The movie is a found footage movie, but it wasn't annoying at all. It actually fit the movie. It added a lot of suspense to the movie. And the movie has great special effects. Lots of jump scares that actually in this film work. I feel like in this movie, it's not really just, oh, put the jump scares in there so we can get some cheap scares. No, these jump scares, they felt a little bit more meaningful in this movie. They're not as just cheap jump scares. No, they really do creep you out. I mean, every jump scare in this movie made me jump. So, you know, it was definitely, the jump scares had a purpose in the movie, added tension to the movie. The atmosphere is very dark. You know, the entire asylum is pitch black, and you know, it's definitely a very creepy atmosphere. Where they shot it at, I want to see what their filming locations were. Vancouver, Canada, but I was wondering if they actually shot this movie, you know, in a freaking real asylum. I was wondering that, because if it's not, if this is just a set, props to the movie, because it seems like a real abandoned asylum. And I've seen tons of horror movies that take place in abandoned places and stuff like that. This one is probably one of the most realistic, you know, interpretations of that. Well, one of the most realistic looking atmospheres, you know, as far as abandoned buildings go and stuff like that. And like I said, it was just very well shot, and the atmosphere is very creepy. And it creeps you out. The whole movie has this creepy vibe to it that you don't know it's around the next corner. And a lot of creepy scenes I could talk about. But the gist of the plot is pretty much this crew's in there. They're locked in. They try to get out. There's an exit door, but when they push it open, it should lead to the outside. It actually leads to another hallway. The stairs lead to the rooftop. There's pretty much a wall right there, so they can't get out. All the windows are barred. Definitely a feeling of, you know, just being trapped. And these characters, you know, they're really likable, because, you know, you kind of want this team to survive because of the acting, because of character development. You've got, of course, you got Lance Preston. You've got Sasha, played by Ashley Grisco. You got TC, played by Merwin Monsdesir. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that last name by accident. Merwin Mondesire. I'm trying to pronounce it the best I can. Matt played by Juan Redinger, sorry. And you've also got the caretaker Kenny, played by Bob Rathie. Good, likable character, sort of a guy who, you know, he's pretty much telling them about how he takes care of the asylum and stuff like that, locks it up after, night, and talks about this door that keeps opening up by itself, or the window actually. And there's just a lot of creepy scenes in the movie. One being when TC is on the phone, there's a wheelchair in the background, it starts to move. And a lot of this stuff is done practical. There's a little bit of CGI in the movie. I'm not gonna lie, there is, especially when it comes to seeing the ghosts, as an apparition. When you see the ghosts, they're sort of CGI, but somewhat practical. There's a creepy scene where this girl turns around, her face just deforms into this demon face. Creepy scene. And the character Matt ends up getting pretty much going crazy because of the asylum, and he falls through a freaking elevator shaft and hits the ground below. Definitely a very shocking scene, and practical effects done well. You got him falling down. You got him falling down the elevator shaft. You got not a lot of blood and gore. Probably not much blood and gore as there is in the sequel, but still little bits of blood here and there. But for what was there, it was good. Special effects and practical effects and stuff like that. From what was there, it was good. And the movie has a good pace, it has a quick pace, and it has a lot of suspense to it. A lot of chase scenes. The darkness makes it creepy. Definitely, in my opinion, a very well made horror movie. You've also got, like I said, some of the ghosts. Some of them are practical, some of them are CGI. There is one CGI effect that I did not like, and that was the scene where they're in the closet, and I believe the freaking ceiling has like hands coming through and stuff like that. Looks fake. Didn't look that good at all. So that was probably the only CGI effect I thought looked terrible, was when they're in the closet and their freaking hands are coming through the ceiling and stuff like that. Just, I don't know, it didn't look that good. But, TC, creepy scene where this girl, you found out there was a girl in this bathtub who slit her wrists, committed suicide, and when they're in the bathroom later on in the movie, TC gets pulled in this bath of blood, and, basically a bloodbath, and just pulled into this bath of blood and disappears. Very creepy and eerie. Definitely very creepy and eerie. Sasha, because pretty much they get in these tunnels underneath the asylum, which is extremely creepy. And this fog or this mist arises, and then when it goes away, she's gone. And it was very eerie. It's very creepy the way it's done. And, pretty much one by one, these people disappear and die off and stuff like that. And then you also got, what was it? Trying to see, who was the guy who played the psychic? I'm trying to see who it was who played the psychic. I can't find him. But the guy who played the psychic, good job acting. I'm trying to figure out who it was, because I swear it was a good job acting though. Mackenzie Gray, who has been in Man of Steel, Shooter, he's been in a few movies. But he did a good job as the sorry about on pause and stuff like that. I'm trying to read up on this stuff, but he did a good job as the psychic, sort of a phony psychic. You know, they turn the cameras off, they start laughing and stuff like that. Sort of a phony, you know, a phony psychic, and he gets pretty much thrown up in the air, and when he falls, he dies. There's a scene where they pretty much walk in this room, and there's a freaking demon or a ghost, whatever, on the freaking ceiling, because you see like a tongue drop on the floor. Looks up, it's right there. Them getting chased to the asylum, not being able to escape. A lot of suspense to the movie, a lot of tension to the movie. And the end of the movie is pretty much Lance Preston is by himself, roaming the tunnels, finds this sort of door that leads him into this, you know, underground surgery, or sort of this. He goes in there, and you know they're doing like brain surgery or something like that, because he found out that the doctor was actually an insane surgeon. And you see he gets attacked. Lance Preston gets attacked. The camera goes off, comes back on. He's like sort of all messed up looking. He's like, "I'm all better now," and then the movie ends. Kind of a, I don't know, not a bad ending, but kind of a confusing one until you get the sequel, where you find that he's just pretty much a crazy person, an insane killer. Which I'm like, great, see, that's a great way to bring back your lead character from the last movie. Just make him an insane killer, and make him a jerk to everybody, to every character in that movie, and make him unlikable and an unlikable character. Sorry, I get so many tongue twisters. But yeah, they pretty much made Lance Preston the next movie a jerk to everybody around him. And he could say, "Oh, he's crazy, he's insane." Yeah, but he's unlikable. And like, it's your lead from the last movie, and what do you do? Make him insane, make him a jerk to everybody around him, and make him a freaking a killer. Like, great movie. That's the great way to treat. I'm like, that's why I like that sequel, because it's just got a lot of problems for me. Some of the ideas I love, some of the ideas I hate, and it wasn't as creepy as this. It had some creepy scenes, but it was not as creepy as this. And it wasn't really as realistic as this one either. This one was more like a realistic sort of ghost movie. Of course, until the apparitions show up, the ghosts and demons and stuff like that. But that one had a little bit more ideas that were sort of, I don't know, that I didn't really like. Some of them I loved, but like I said, some of them I didn't. But Grave Encounters, it's got a lot of stuff going for it. It has a great atmosphere. Practical effects that are there are pretty decent. I like the idea of the movie. I like the cast. I like the characters. I like the acting. And in my opinion, it's just a pretty good horror movie. And I am definitely going to pick it up on Blu-ray when it comes out. Or if it's out already, I think it's already out on Blu-ray. But I will definitely pick it up on Blu-ray. And yeah, so thanks for watching my review for Grave Encounters. I'll be reviewing the sequel tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.